Hi there, Jim Paterson, Chairman and CEO of ValOre Metals Corp. Today I'm with the esteemed Vice President of Exploration, Colin Smith. We're going to be talking about the Pedra Branca palladium-platinum project in northeastern Brazil. Colin, as you know, the company ValOre has some criteria in terms of the projects that we look at in advance. We look for projects that have had substantial prior investment or, from a perspective of regional investment and investment on the project. We look for projects with district scale potential, true district scale potential. And also we look for ways to leverage our team, the exploration, boots on the ground, through to innovation to add value to the project. So from a Pedra Branca perspective, on the substantial prior investment, both regional and at a project level, how does that fit our criteria for Pedra Branca?
Fits it like a glove, Jim. Absolutely, yeah. Perhaps not a black glove, but yeah. I mean, from a regional sense, the project is accessible on a 4-hour paved highway, state highway. It takes you right to Brasilia, actually, from the capital city of Fortaleza, capital of Ceará state. Fortaleza is a city right on the coast of population just shy of 3 million people. It's got 2 deep water international ports, has an international airport, and obviously, access to global markets. And so access to there is great, from there is great, and we drive on a paved highway to site. And the village of Capitão Mor serves as the headquarters for the project. And it's a population of about 1,000 people, situated strategically central within the current exploration tenements, and offers great in-place infrastructure. There's a large core logging, storage, and sampling facility. There's an exploration office, internet, phone, water, a very supportive and skilled local workforce, very much so involved in our operations. And further to that, access throughout the project area is extensive. It's very agriculturally developed, so there's no real environmental concerns, and there's a network of roads that can literally drive you basically to any place you want to get to in the project.
Yeah, in terms of data, what would you say, what are we leveraging there?
Yeah, so there's been a significant historical spend. Anglo-American Platinum held the project for about 11 years. And they put the lion's share of the 35 million US spent historically on the project. A lot of that was in drilling, so about 30,000 meters was drilled before we got involved with the project. There was district-wide airborne and ground geophysics, district-wide geochemistry, and so a really extensive exploration database which we have been able to leverage and get a lot of value out of.
And so when you say district scale, some people think you're kind of blowing smoke, but in this case, it's a very large land package with a big geological unit from north to south, palladium-platinum showings. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so the claims, as you can see on a map, are sort of strategically staked, encompassing a geological unit called the Troya unit, which is a mafic to ultramafic body, which is folded and faulted in various ways, but is the prospective unit to host PGM deposits. And to date, there's been 7 discovered to date, so the resource is now sitting at 2.2 million ounces. However, we have over 80 kilometers of this trend staked, and through the rejuvenation of the historical geochemical data and geophysical data sets, there's anomalism from tip to tip, and there's vast portions of this trend which are completely unexplored, which have potential because there's anomalies on either end, basically. And so it is a district scale play just because the sheer scale of the trend that is yet to be explored, and the prospective strike which shows anomalism in the historical data but no follow-up because companies like Anglo were really looking only at the biggest 2 anomalies in the data set, so everything else was kind of left untouched.
So we've got this big land package, mineralization from tip to top, great regional infrastructure. What are we going to do? What are we doing to leverage that? What is ValOre doing?
Yeah, I mean, so a big part of the first year, year and a half was working the data and getting the data into a clean form, to a form that we could trust in the field. And so since that, we've built an outstanding in-country Brazilian technical team, and they've really led the way with managing 17,000 meters of drilling, both RC and core. And further to that, have been instrumental in developing an effective and efficient targeting methodology that can vet all these targets. And so there's 16 targets property-wide, in addition to the 7 resource areas that we've deemed high priority. And so we're applying the strategic methodology to advance and vet. Not all of these will reach drill ready stage, but of the 6 that we've looked at closely this year, 5 have reached drill ready stage. So the team has a very effective way to go to the field, assess the geological potential of these zones, and then use things like the Trado auger to empirically vet them, get the assays, and then really get them to a de-risked point of view from a drilling standpoint.
Okay, so this year, at the beginning, the first quarter, we released an updated inferred resource, which showed that the drilling we've done over the last few years had doubled the resource since our acquisition. And so but we have not done any drilling, no RC or diamond drill core. So what are we doing to add value right now? And then how does that set the stage for the latter half of the year when we're funded to do some drilling?
Sure, yeah. I mean, the focus this year has really been on target generation and building up an arsenal of very high quality, low risk drill targets.
Yeah.
And these are both targets that would be classified as new discoveries, so targets that we haven't drilled or previous operators haven't drilled with RC or core, and or their resource expansion targets where, for example, in the last resource calc, as you said, we doubled it. We added 106% to the resource, including 2 new resource areas, 2 new deposits, and a lot of these are still open for further drilling. And so in combination with the pure resource expansion and some of these new discovery style targets, we're going to amass a very, very high quality, as I said, arsenal of drill targets. And so, we're planning for an RC program either in Q4 of this year or Q1 of 2023.
Or both.
Or both.
Well, one question I had, so if we haven't drilled, we've only trenched and did the auger drilling, which we call Trado, it's a Brazilian product. How can we be effective? Is it because the mineralization is shallow, Colin?
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, of the 7 deposit areas that constitute the current resource, all 7 come to surface.
Right.
Some of them, would essentially have no strip as their dips are very shallow and sympathetic with topography. But certainly, as you alluded to, I mean, the mineralization is extremely shallow and outcropping in almost all cases at Pedra Branca. And in the cases where it's not at surface and we have indications through geophysics or geochemistry that there's potential there, the Trado is able to see what we can't see or find what we can't find. We're able to drill right down through the full overburden profile into the top of weathered bedrock. And so we get not only a real-time indication of the geology undercover, but we get a really comprehensive geochemical sample as well. And so, we've liked it so much, and it's been so effective that we've picked up a second Trado, and we've really doubled the productivity of the field crews. And it's the perfect tool for the project because mineralization is shallow. The cover is typically in the scale of meters, so 2 to 3 to 5. At the deepest hole we've drilled, I think, is 18 meters for the Trado, but we can still get there. And it's highly portable, and so you put it in the back of a pickup truck. We've trained up local folks in the community. You don't need skilled, expensive drillers. It's a Honda 4-stroke engine, so you can fix it with your toolbox, and parts are readily accessible as well. So.
Right. So leading up to the drill program, we've got lots of kind of pipeline building news releases to come over the next couple of months, and perhaps even within the next month, I guess, 2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah, we're waiting some significant trench interval results, dozens of Trado holes, and we're running a big soil sampling campaign as well at one of the targets. So.
Excellent. Great. Well, thank you so much for your interest in ValOre Metals Corp. You can visit us at valoremetals.com. We'd love to hear from you. Please keep in touch.